Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, today I want to share with you a profound truth. God always signals the arrival of a major blessing in your life with unmistakable signs. Often we are so caught up in our struggles, in our waiting, that we fail to recognize the divine indicators that something extraordinary is about to happen. Just like a farmer knows the season is changing when the winds shift and the soil changes, God has his ways of preparing us for the miracles he is about to release. These signs are not random. They are purposeful, deliberate, and meant to encourage your faith, fortify your patience, and align your actions with God's perfect timing. Today, I will reveal the 4 key signs that God sends before a big blessing. And as I unpack these, I want you to watch for them in your own life, because recognizing these signs will transform your waiting into hope, your struggles into strength, and your faith into fruition. Sign 1, unusual peace amidst chaos. The first sign that a blessing is on the way is peace, a deep, unshakable peace that doesn't make sense given your circumstances. When storms rage around you, but your heart remains calm, that is God's way of saying, I am about to do something extraordinary. Trust me, faith grows in the silence of your heart, and peace is God's whisper preparing you for a breakthrough. Sign 2, doors closing that you didn't ask to close. Sometimes opportunities you thought were essential suddenly vanish. This is not rejection. This is divine redirection. God closes doors to make space for better ones. Don't fight it, celebrate it. What seems like a setback is often the path to your greatest blessing. Sign 3, divine appointments and connections. Have you noticed people appearing in your life at exactly the right moment? That is God sending divine connections. Your blessing may arrive through a mentor, a friend, a stranger, or even an opportunity you never planned for. Pay attention to people and moments around you. They are not coincidences. Sign 4, growing desire and unstoppable vision. When God is about to bless you, he plants a vision that will not die. A desire grows so strong that you can no longer settle for less. This is his way of preparing your heart to receive something bigger, something beyond your imagination. Guard that vision, nurture it, and act on it with faith. One of the most important truths to understand is that God never works in silence when it comes to blessing his children. He is not a God who surprises us without warning. Rather, he is intentional, deliberate, and purposeful in the way he prepares us for the breakthroughs, opportunities, and favor that are about to come into our lives. These divine signals are like markers on a spiritual roadmap, guiding us to the place of our destiny, alerting us that something greater than our current situation is on its way. When we talk about divine signs, we are not referring to mere coincidences or random occurrences. These are spiritual confirmations, subtle yet unmistakable indicators that God is at work behind the scenes. Could be a recurring word that keeps showing up in your prayers, conversations, or even in songs you hear. It could be a gentle nudge in your heart to take a step of faith or to let go something that no longer serves your purpose. God's signs often come in forms that are personal to each of us, tailored to awaken our awareness and align us with his perfect plan. Recognizing these signs requires attentiveness and spiritual sensitivity. Often people are so focused on their struggles, their deadlines, and their disappointments that they fail to see the quiet ways God communicates. He might begin by giving you a sense of hope in a hopeless situation, a feeling that even though everything seems stagnant, change is on the horizon. This feeling is a sign, a whisper from God that he is orchestrating events in your favor, even if you cannot yet see the full picture. Another way God signals blessings is through patterns in your life. You may notice repeated opportunities, words, or encounters that seem too consistent to be mere chance. These are not coincidences. They are the ways God is aligning your circumstances, people, and resources for the perfect timing of your breakthrough. Sometimes He allows challenges to persist for a season to prepare your heart, strengthen your faith, and sharpen your focus. But each challenge comes with a hidden sign that you are on the path to something greater. The beauty of God's signs is that they often come before the blessing arrives, serving as a spiritual advance notice. This notice is meant to prepare your mind, your heart, and your actions to fully receive what He has in store. When you recognize and act on these signs, you step into your blessing with confidence and expectation, rather than fear or hesitation. God's signs are His way of saying, I see. I am preparing something extraordinary for you. Stay patient, stay faithful, and pay attention, for your breakthrough is closer than you think. In essence, understanding that God communicates through signs transforms your waiting from uncertainty into anticipation. You begin to notice the subtleties in your life, the recurring confirmations, and the divine orchestration around you. When you recognize these signs, your faith strengthens, your hope rises, and your heart becomes attuned to the movements of God, allowing you to receive your blessings with joy, readiness, and gratitude. Another unmistakable sign that God is about to release a major blessing into your life is the appearance of divine appointments and God orchestrated connections. These are moments, meetings, or encounters that seem too perfect to be mere coincidence. They are carefully placed by God to guide you, open doors, and align your life with the blessings He has prepared for you. Divine appointments are often subtle at first. It might be a conversation with someone you've never met before that suddenly changes your perspective. It could be a mentor, a stranger, a business connection, or even a casual encounter that seems random. But when you look back, you realize it was a turning point. These connections are God's way of showing that He is actively involved in your journey and that He has a plan far bigger than anything you could orchestrate on your own. God often uses people as instruments of His blessings. He knows that your success, growth, and breakthrough are not meant to happen in isolation. When the right person enters your life at the perfect moment, they can provide guidance, resources, encouragement, or opportunities that propel you forward. These appointments are timed perfectly, even if you don't understand the reason at the moment. God sometimes keeps the blessing hidden behind relationships, so He can teach you dependence, patience, and trust while preparing you to receive. It's also important to recognize that divine connections are not always obvious. Sometimes the people who influence your life the most are those you would have never expected. God works in mysterious ways, and He often places people in your path to test, challenge, or encourage you, all while steering you toward the exact blessing He has promised. A brief encounter may contain wisdom, a job opportunity, or even a life-altering revelation. No meeting, no interaction is ever wasted when God is at work. Recognizing these appointments requires spiritual attentiveness and an open heart. You must be willing to see beyond the surface, to listen to the promptings of the Holy Spirit, and to act with faith when an opportunity arises. Sometimes God uses a simple "hi, yes" from you showing up for a meeting, saying a kind word, or responding to a call to activate your blessing. When you ignore or dismiss these connections, you risk delaying the very breakthrough that God has designed for you. Divine appointments and connections also strengthen your faith because they remind you that you are not alone in your journey. When you notice how perfectly people and opportunities fall into place, you begin to see the fingerprints of God on your life. It reassures you that your breakthrough is not random, it is not by chance, and it is not delayed indefinitely. It is coming, and God is actively orchestrating the events to bring it to you. In essence, divine appointments and connections are God's strategic preparation for your blessing. They are His way of aligning your relationships, resources, and circumstances to create a perfect pathway for what is coming. When you pay attention, remain humble, and step into these appointments with faith, you position yourself to fully receive the abundance and favor that God has been preparing for you. One of the most powerful signs that God is about to release a major blessing into your life is the presence of a growing desire and a vision that refuses to be ignored. This is not just a fleeting wish or a casual goal. It is a divinely planted longing deep within your heart, a fire that keeps burning no matter how many obstacles you face. God often begins His work in your life by planting a vision that stretches your faith, excites your spirit, and awakens your purpose. When God plants a vision, it is meant to motivate and guide you toward the blessing He has prepared. It often starts small, dream an idea or a sense of calling, but it grows stronger over time. The more you nurture it through prayer, faith, and action, the more it becomes undeniable. This growing desire is God's way of preparing you spiritually, mentally, and emotionally for what is coming. It ensures that when the blessing arrives, you are ready to steward it well. An unstoppable vision is like a compass. It keeps pointing you in the right direction. Even when circumstances seem contrary, when challenges arise, as they inevitably will, this vision refuses to die. It gives you the strength to persevere when others give up. It fuels your determination, reminding you that the blessing is worth the wait and the struggle. God uses this vision to shape your character, refine your resilience, and align your actions with His perfect timing. Often, the intensity of this desire grows because God is preparing your heart to receive more than you could have imagined. A small, casual dream could become a life-changing mission. A simple idea could become a platform that impacts countless lives. God uses this growing desire to stretch your faith, push you out of your comfort zone, and expand your capacity to receive. He is essentially saying, I am preparing something extraordinary for you, and I am building within you the heart, mind, and vision to handle it responsibly. The beauty of a vision from God is that it cannot be quenched by fear, failure. No matter how many times circumstances seem to oppose you, this vision keeps pulling you forward. It aligns your decisions, your priorities, and even your relationships with the purpose God has designed for your life. When you begin to notice this burning desire, take it seriously. It is not by accident. God is awakening your potential and signaling that a breakthrough is imminent. This growing desire also serves as a form of spiritual confirmation. When God is about to bless you, He begins by planting a vision that aligns with His will for your life. Your dreams become clearer, your goals more precise, and your steps more intentional. Every time you act on this vision with faith, you are moving closer to the manifestation of the blessing God has promised. In essence, a growing desire and unstoppable vision are God's way of preparing your heart for the extraordinary. They are the signals that He is about to release a blessing that exceeds your imagination. When you nurture this vision, trust it, and pursue it with faith, you position yourself to receive the fullness of what God has ordained for your life. One of the clearest signs that God is release a major blessing in your life is the growth of your faith, especially during difficult seasons. Often we think that faith only matters when everything is going well, but God actually strengthens our trust in Him when the storms of life are raging. It is in the pressure, the challenges, and the moments of uncertainty that faith is refined, deepened, and tested so that we are prepared to receive His blessings fully and responsibly. When you face hardships but still choose to believe in God's promises, you are demonstrating a faith that is active, resilient, and pleasing to Him. This is a sign that your heart is aligning with His plan. God allows difficult circumstances not to punish you, but to stretch your faith, build your endurance, and teach you the power of trust. Every obstacle, every delay, every moment that challenges your patience is a divine training ground for your breakthrough. Faith grows during hard times because these seasons force you to rely on God rather than your own strength strength or understanding. When life is easy, it is tempting to depend on your abilities, resources, or luck. But when the path is steep, faith becomes essential. It becomes the bridge between your present situation and the blessings God has in store. The stronger your faith becomes in these moments, the more equipped you are to handle the abundance, favor, and responsibility that comes with your breakthrough. Another beautiful aspect of increased faith during trials is that it produces resilience and hope. When you believe God's promises in the midst of difficulty, you develop a spiritual perspective that sees beyond temporary setbacks. You begin to recognize that challenges are not dead ends, they are stepping stones. Faith teaches you that God's timing is perfect, that His plans are greater than your fears, and that every struggle carries a lesson designed to prepare you for something extraordinary. And growing efficient allows you to hear God more clearly. When your life is easy, it is easy to become distracted. But during trials, your dependence on God intensifies, prayer becomes deeper, and your sensitivity to His guidance sharpens. This increased faith often comes with divine confirmation, guidance, and wisdom, showing you the next step you need to take toward your blessing. Ultimately, the development of faith in hard times is both a sign and a preparation. It signals that God is actively working behind the scenes, orchestrating your breakthrough and equipping your heart for what is to come. The struggles you endure are not wasted, they are purposeful. They are shaping a version of you that is ready to receive, steward, and thrive in the blessings that God has been planning. Faith is not passive, it is active, enduring, and transformative. When your faith increases amid challenges, it is a divine indicator that your blessing is near, that God's promises are about to be fulfilled, and that your life is being aligned with His perfect will. Another powerful sign that God is preparing to release a major blessing in your life is the presence of unexplainable joy, a joy that transcends your circumstances and defies logic. This is not the kind of happiness that comes from achievements, possessions, or favorable situations. No, this is a deep spiritual joy, a joy that shines from within even when the world around you seems dark, uncertain, or challenging. It is a divine signal that God's hand is moving on your behalf and that something extraordinary is on the way. Unexplainable joy often appears at unexpected times. You might be facing trials, financial struggles, or personal disappointments, yet your heart remains light, your spirit remains uplifted, and a sense of gratitude and hope fills you. This joy is God's way of saying, do not be discouraged. I am preparing something magnificent for you. And this joy is a foretaste of what is coming. It acts as a spiritual compass, reassuring you that your blessing is approaching and that the struggles you see now are temporary. This joy is also a strengthening force. It builds resilience in your heart and mind, allowing you to navigate challenges without losing faith. When your circumstances threaten to overwhelm you, this inner joy anchors your spirit and prevents despair from taking root. It reminds you that your value, purpose, and hope are not determined by what is happening around you, but by God's promises and His unwavering love. Moreover, unexplainable joy aligns your energy with your blessing. God uses it to prepare your heart for reception. When blessings arrive, they're not just external. Spiritual readiness is just as important as material or tangible readiness. This joy is a signal that your heart is in the right place. Your soul is receptive, and you are prepared to experience God's favor fully. It also draws others towards you, creating an atmosphere of positivity and opportunity that God often uses to accelerate blessings. Another remarkable aspect of this divine joy is that it transcends human understanding. It cannot be manufactured, faked, or forced. You might not know why you feel so happy or peaceful in the midst of trials, but it is God's unmistakable signature on your life. When you notice this joy, pay attention. It is a sign that God is actively working behind the scenes, orchestrating circumstances and people to bring about the manifestation of his promises. Finally, unexplainable joy is a reminder of hope and faith. It reassures you that your current season, no matter how challenging, is temporary and that God is already setting the stage for your breakthrough. It is both a spiritual encouragement and a divine preparation, strengthening your confidence in God's timing and his ability to turn every situation in your favor. In essence, unexplainable joy is a divine marker, a heavenly whisper to your heart that your blessing is near. It lifts your spirit, strengthens your faith, and prepares you to receive the fullness of what God has ordained for your life. Another powerful sign that God is preparing to bless you in a major way is the development of heightened intuition, a spiritual sensitivity that guides your decisions, alerts you to opportunities, and protects you from potential pitfalls. This is not merely a gut feeling or a coincidence. It is a divine signal, a whisper from God that sharpens your awareness and aligns your actions with his perfect plan. Heightened intuition often begins subtly. You may notice a growing sense of clarity when making choices or a strong inner conviction about the right direction to take. Certain situations may trigger immediate discernment where you intuitively sense the path to pursue and the path to avoid. These are God's ways of equipping you to navigate life with wisdom and precision, especially as you approach the blessings he has been preparing. This spiritual insight is crucial because blessings often arrive in ways that require discernment and preparedness. The opportunities, connections, or resources God sends may not always appear obvious, and sometimes the difference between receiving a blessing or missing it lies in your ability to recognize and act on the right moment. Heightened intuition serves as a divine compass, helping you recognize when to step forward, when to pause, and when to redirect your energy toward what aligns with God's will. Moreover, heightened intuition helps protect you from distractions and harmful influences. Life is full of choices, and not every opportunity, relationship, or path is meant to lead to your breakthrough. God uses this spiritual sensitivity to alert you to what aligns with your purpose and what does not. It's like a built-in safeguard, keeping you on the path toward your blessing and steering you away from what could delay or diminish it. Another important aspect of heightened intuition is that it strengthens your confidence in God's timing. When you feel these promptings, whether through thoughts, impressions, or sudden clarity, they remind you that God is actively orchestrating events in your favor. You begin to trust that the small nudges you feel are part of a bigger plan, and that your breakthrough is not by chance, but by divine design. Heightened intuition also enhances your ability to act with faith. When God places opportunities in your path, your intuition alerts you to recognize them quickly and move decisively. This prevents hesitation, doubt, or fear from interfering with your progress. The more you cultivate and listen to this God-given awareness, the more aligned you become with his plan, and the smoother your journey toward your blessing becomes. In essence, heightened intuition is a spiritual gift and a sign that your blessing is near. It is God's way of preparing you to receive, guiding you with wisdom, and protecting you from distractions or wrong turns. When you pay attention to this inner guidance, you position yourself to step confidently into the opportunities and divine favor that he has been orchestrating on your behalf. Another profound sign that God is preparing to bless you is the emergence of peace with your past. This is a deep spiritual release from the burdens, regrets, and hurts that may have held you back. God often waits until he has restored your perspective and healed your heart before releasing major blessings. When you begin to experience peace with what has already happened, it is a divine indication that he is aligning your life for what is to come. Peace with the past does not mean forgetting or pretending that painful experiences never occurred. Rather, it means means letting go of bitterness, resentment, and self-blame, and trusting God's hand in every part of your journey. It is understanding that every trial, mistake, or setback has played a role in shaping the person you are today and preparing you for the season of abundance that lies ahead. When this peace begins to settle in your heart, it is a clear signal that you are spiritually ready to receive God's blessing. This peace also frees up your energy and focus. Often when we cling to past disappointments, we unintentionally block the flow of new opportunities. Our attention is consumed by what was, instead of being fully present for what is coming. God uses the gift of peace with the past to redirect your focus toward the future. It allows you to embrace new relationships, opportunities, and divine favor without the weight of yesterday holding you back. Another vital aspect of peace with the past is forgiveness. Forgiving others, and sometimes even yourself, is essential to receiving God's blessings. When forgiveness takes root, it removes spiritual blockages and opens the door for God's grace to move unhindered. Your past mistakes, failures, and disappointments no longer define you. They become testimonies of God's faithfulness, resilience, and preparation. Peace with the past also strengthens your faith and confidence in God's plan. When you can look back and see how every trial, delay, and challenge was purposeful, you begin to trust that He is orchestrating your future with precision. You start to recognize that your past was not wasted, but was a series of lessons, growth opportunities, and spiritual refinements designed to prepare you for the blessings ahead. Furthermore, this peace brings a sense of inner calm and readiness. When you are no longer held hostage by past regrets or unhealed wounds, you are free to receive what God has for you without hesitation or fear. Your heart becomes a fertile ground, ready for new beginnings, divine encounters, and the fulfillment of promises that God has been preparing specifically for you. In essence, peace with the past is a divine signal of preparation. It indicates that God is aligning your mind, heart, and spirit to fully embrace the blessings He has in store. When you can release the weight of yesterday and trust in His perfect plan, you position yourself to step confidently into the breakthrough, favor, and abundance that He has been orchestrating in your life. Another powerful sign that God is preparing to release a blessing in your life is the development of a sense of urgency. This is not a frantic, anxious pressure. It is a divine prompting within your spirit, an inner awareness that certain actions, decisions, or steps cannot be delayed. God often uses this sense of urgency to align your focus, push you toward obedience, and ensure that you are fully ready to receive the opportunities and breakthroughs He has been orchestrating. A sense of urgency often comes as a subtle but persistent nudge. You may feel compelled to pursue a specific opportunity, reach out to a certain person, or step into a calling that you have long delayed. This is God's way of saying, now is the time. Move forward with faith, for I am opening doors that will not wait forever. When you recognize this prompting, it is crucial to respond quickly because the timing of blessings is often as important as the blessing itself. This sense of urgency also helps you prioritize your actions. Life is full of distractions, and sometimes blessings are delayed because we allow trivial matters to consume our time and energy. When God instills urgency in your heart, He is directing your focus toward what truly matters. It is a spiritual wake-up call reminding you that your breakthrough requires intentional steps, consistent effort, and immediate faith-based action. Moreover, urgency strengthens your faith and decision-making. When you feel compelled to act despite uncertainty, you are exercising trust in God's guidance. This is a sign that He is preparing you for something beyond your current understanding, a blessing that will require courage, faith, and responsiveness. Acting on divine urgency demonstrates obedience, and God often opens doors to those who move decisively in alignment with His time. A sense of urgency is also a tool for preparing your heart and mind. It shifts you from passive waiting to active preparation. God uses this prompting to focus your thoughts, refine your priorities, and align your actions with His plan. You begin to see opportunities with greater clarity, recognize the right people, and take steps that position you perfectly for the breakthrough ahead. Another remarkable aspect of divine urgency is that it often comes with sudden inspiration and clarity. When God nudges you to act, He may also provide the resources, ideas, or connections needed to succeed. These moments are not coincidences. They are strategically placed by God to ensure that when you move in perfect alignment with His timing and purpose. In essence, a sense of urgency is a divine signal that your blessing is near and requires action. It is God's way of prompting you to step out in faith, seize opportunities, and move forward without hesitation. When you recognize and respond to this urgency, you position yourself to fully embrace the breakthrough, favor, and abundance that He has been meticulously preparing for you. Brothers and sisters, as we come to the close of this message, I want you to take these truths deep into your heart. God is always at work behind the scenes, orchestrating every detail of your life for your ultimate good. The signs we have discussed: peace amidst chaos, closed doors that redirect divine appointments, growing desires and unstoppable vision, increased faith, unexplainable joy, clarity of purpose, shifting priorities, heightened intuition, peace with the past, a sense of urgency, generosity, new skills, waiting seasons, and unexpected favor are all divine indicators that something extraordinary is about to manifest in your life. These signs are not random. They are deliberate and designed to prepare you spiritually, mentally, and emotionally for the blessings God has planned. Your breakthrough is coming, and it is far greater than you could have imagined. But the key is to recognize these signs, respond with faith, and move forward boldly. Do not ignore the whispers of God in your life. Do not dismiss the peace, the joy, the clarity, or the nudges you feel in your spirit. These are divine confirmations that you are on the right path. Remember, blessings often arrive in ways we do not expect. They may come through people, opportunities, or moments that seem ordinary but are orchestrated perfectly by God. Your role is to stay patient, trust His timing, and embrace the preparation He has placed in your life. Every challenge, every delay, and in every season of waiting is part of His perfect plan. So today, I encourage you, open your eyes to the signs God is sending. Pay attention to the subtle confirmations, the divine appointments, and the desires that stir within your heart. Let faith rise above fear. Let gratitude outweigh doubt. And let your hope be anchored in the promise that your blessing is on its way. Stand ready, because the blessing God has promised is not just coming, it is imminent. Your season of breakthrough, favor, and abundance is here, and when it arrives, it will exceed your expectations, surpass your dreams, and glorify the name of God in your life.